Hey, yo, Pharrell's new movie, Piece by Piece, is out. It's a Lego film, and the marketing campaign is pretty cool. So, shit, let's talk about it. So, Piece by Piece is essentially a documentary, but it's a Lego style documentary about Pharrell's career. Now, if you don't know Pharrell, of course, you should know, but if you don't, he's one half of the Neptunes with Chad Hugo. At one point, I think they had like 60% of the records on radio were literally produced by them. In the early 2000s, everything was Neptunes, literally top five hip hop producers of all time. We can debate about that anytime you want. But with that said, the rollout for the movie was really dope. Now, of course, everything started with a teaser post on Instagram, right? Pharrell put up a picture of him looking like a Lego with three little Legos behind him. I'm assuming it might have been his kids, but if not, still, there was a teaser post, right? And then, of course, in the days to follow, what we saw were the PR stories. The PR stories essentially said, hey, yo, Pharrell's got this movie coming out. It's a documentary about his life. It's going to be called Piece by Piece. They even released still shots, so we saw that it looked like the clips were going to be in there. Snoop Dogg was going to be in there. And as more clips of the movie have come out in the coming days that I've seen, Kendrick Lamar is in there talking about the making of All Right. Gwen Stefani is in there from what I heard. Literally every Pharrell collaborator that you can think of is in that movie, right? So Lego style movie featuring all of his best collaborators. Now, how do you continue to roll this movie out now that you've talked about, everything on the big PR outlets? Well, the thing that I like about this campaign is that they really built a world around the entire rollout of the movie. So it started with the PR stuff, it started with the trailer, but then, of course, naturally, they actually made a real Lego set. So as the months start drawing closer to the movie's release, the Over the Moon collection came out. So they actually created a rocket, Lego style rocket with these different figureheads, these minifigs, I think they're called, so that you can really customize the rocket as you build it out. So now we're getting all the Lego fans, the diehards involved on a really tangible level because now they're actually able to get a Lego set in anticipation of the film. But on top of that, of course, it's a movie. Pharrell is a musician, so naturally he had to come out with a soundtrack, right? And not only does the soundtrack feature some of the biggest songs in his career, like I Just Want to Love You, Jay-Z, All Right, Kendrick Lamar, and again, more by Gwen Stefani and more by his other collaborators, but he also said that he recorded 5 new songs for the soundtrack. So, Piece by Piece, actually the title track that I think you might have heard a little bit earlier, that's on the soundtrack. I think there's a remix of a song called Virginia Boy that features Tyler, the Creator, that's on the soundtrack. And there are 3 new other songs on there. So, again, going back to this whole theme of building a world around the rollout, yeah, they hit us on social with stuff. They did the trailers, PR, and now we have the soundtrack. So we've got music from an actual, musician, one of the greatest in our time, to go with the movie. And if that wasn't enough, again, doubling back on social and really building that steam on social, I saw that Lego actually put out an activation that allowed people to make their own Lego style figures and take pictures with Pharrell. So if you go to Lego's Instagram and you visit the link, you can actually customize your own Lego. And then at the end, it's like, hey, do you want to take a picture by yourself or a picture with Pharrell? I think I chose the picture with Pharrell. And of course, it gave me a JPEG. And I'll put that in the video somewhere. But yeah, honestly, that was pretty stellar. So, as far as takeaways, because of course this is Beats and Billboards, right? The main thing for brands, and this is really simple, we say it so much in marketing these days, but really try to build a world around the things that you're rolling out. Like, cool, cover the traditional channels, right? Cover PR, cover influencers, cover social. But think about how you can really build a story and a narrative around the film, right? Or actually, yeah, around the film, because when we think about the commercials, it may be a 30 or 15 or 60, but it's a film. It's a recorded thing as much as this is a film, right? Storytelling. How else can you build a world around the things that you're doing? If Pharrell had just come out and said, yo, I'm doing a movie and check it out in 4 months, it probably wouldn't do as well. But because he's hitting people at all these different touch points, because it's giving fodder to social media for people to check out, I'm willing to bet that the film is doing pretty good, especially for, a documentary style film. And not only that, if we lean into point 2 of what I think brands can take away from this, think about the way you can blend worlds, right? Now, again, regular documentary from a musician, a lot of times these days, they already have a serious tone to it, right? It talks about the ups and downs and the turmoil, but then how the person rose through the turmoil and now they're at this crossroads in their career and they're doing immaculate, right? It's always so serious. Pharrell really sets himself apart by blending worlds, by taking something that's typically reserved for kids, right? With Legos, I'm willing to bet. I think, what do they say? You can use Legos like from 2 to 99. He literally tapped into a community of, Gen Z, and I think at this point Gen Alpha, and he's getting a chance to connect with them on a level that he wouldn't be able to connect with had he just did a regular documentary and said, here Netflix, here Amazon, take this and put it out there. No disrespect to those guys, but again, the idea of blending worlds to capture a different generation and to, more or less target a different market is pretty genius here, because it extends his footprint as a musician. Not to mention, a lot of his bigger records that have come after much of his work with the Neptunes are, in kids' movies, the Despicable Me movies, Happy, that new song he has out that I'm currently blanking on. All of those songs are squarely targeted at Gen Alpha, at kids who are eventually going to get into music streaming, eventually are going to look to someone who can provide them those dope sounds that they're looking for, the soundtrack to their life as they're growing up. And Pharrell's positioning himself to be that quite nicely. So with that said, quick episode of Beats and Billboards. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool campaign. I haven't seen the movie yet, but it's definitely on my list. Interested in hearing about the behind the scenes of some of the biggest records out there by one of the biggest producers ever. And yeah, man, Pharrell, if you see this, holla at the kid, man. Let's make some beats. Let's make some marketing magic. But with that said, this is Beats and Billboards. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.